It's Saturday, so I'm teaching on Ali again. Ali was the fourth Imam. I forgot to mention Abu Bakr last time. There was Abu Bakr, Omar, and Uthman, and then Ali. And so there were four Imams. He was the last one. He's who wrote the Quran the most. I think he wrote the entire Quran by hand, he literally wrote it. And he has some teachings on justice I was going to go through. And the first one I mentioned before says, justice has four divisions: profound understanding, penetrating knowledge, clarity of judgment, and firmly established forbearance. For whoever understands will know blah, blah, blah. But I looked up forbearance because I don't even know forbearance. And I think it has to do with forgiveness, being known as someone that's not super harsh, being known as someone that can let things go. And and that's something I didn't, I'm really disappointed that I didn't understand that before, because what I was actually hoping to talk about was this penetrating knowledge and clarity of judgment and profound understanding, where a just person is so smart that they really get what they're being just about. If there's anything you'll learn about jail, the reason it's so unjust is because some of the people are very, very low IQ. And that's why you have to be so careful with these people, because they are so irrational, because they're so dumb. And I remember Ali said something before about the different types of people. There's the freemen, they're the slave, they're the freemen, there are the average slaves, and then there are the low slaves. Because there are three classes, and 1 out of 3 is not a slave. So he was saying speak simply to the very low slaves. And I do think that sometimes you really do have to be careful, when you start to get an indication that someone's so stupid, you have to speak slower to them. But let's see what this says. It says, prefer to be one who is overcome while being just, rather than one who triumphs while being unjust. Why? Is Ali being an idealist? Just let him overcome you. Just lose the unjust people. Why is he saying this? I think it's because people have an innate sense of justice. They desire justice. When they see something unjust, they can't help it. They need to get involved. Even the guy in jail who is in there for something terrible is like that. They see something unjust. Next thing you know, that person's fighting. You don't want to publicly display your unjust nature. Because people, even bad people, have a desire for justice. So I've been in a situation, not just right now, but over and over again, where I've been overwhelmed by the unjust nature of society, because I have the profound understanding and penetrating knowledge of certain things. And my knowledge makes me really notice how unjust the Christian religion is. Where we're when I remember being so overwhelmed by the fact that I was an actual Christian, but then George Bush is in charge and he's killing that many people, and everyone just thinks it's okay. And they didn't think it was okay. I mean, they'll tell you the polls say that this guy's very unpopular, but it was so unjust, the way he behaved. But then he's doing it in the name of Jesus, and for me, that made me so bothered, and it affected my happiness, because I was attached to the idea that things should be just. I was attached to the idea that things should be fair. And the reality is that things are not fair, especially in this world right now. In this society right now, you're talking about a bunch of people that accumulated so much wealth by doing terrible, evil stuff for thousands or their ancestors did terrible, evil stuff for thousands of years. And they brainwashed these people, and they did terrible things to these people, and they shut down illegal speech so much they freaking tortured people publicly to shut down illegal speech that much, or especially about the Bible, that much. And I see the unjust nature of the situation I'm in right now. There is no penetrating knowledge. I try to talk to my probation officer about the girls dressed for Christmas, and it's oh, this is disgusting. You're showing me naked pictures. Actually, she's got underwear on. I'm showing you pictures of, I can show you naked pictures. I'm not showing you naked pictures. And so how many pictures can I send to this person to convince them that this is what's going on? Well, no, she knows that the internet censorship, where I guess she's saying I have 0 followers. like is what's reality, even though she can see the pictures. And so like I don't know like what I can do to prove things. I mean, like I like it's like the whole city of Colorado Springs, like no one's allowed to talk to her. Like I mean, like which makes me like which makes people see the unjust situation, and like and when people see injustice that much, it irritates them. Like you don't understand how much it irritates people. Like when I can't plead felony and say I'm giving up my gun rights, you guys know I'm crazy. Like, punish me less. Just let me stop being punished. Like, I've been punished long enough. Like, when they see me not be allowed to stop being punished, there's nothing more unjust. Like a mental health probation officer is obsessed with getting you your gun back. She won't let you give up your gun rights because you're too crazy. She wants to force drugs on you. So I've been talking about how our happiness can be tied to our desire for things to be just. Like, there are people out there that walk around the world always pissed off because there's nothing they can do. They know, like, I'm sure a lot of you guys have been walking around the world going, how are the sex traffickers still censoring right now? Like, how are they acting like this is an actual election? Like, I can see that they're like putting this guy through hell because everyone's going, well, I mean, the Christmas pictures are just a coincidence. Like, they know that like I'm a sex trafficking victim. And when people know the injustice in my life, that is my life, and then everyone perpetrates that injustice and encourages me to feel like I'm mentally ill, because they're the ones that go, well, I mean, yeah, I know it's almost Christmas time. That's why they're selling Christmas tickets, because it's almost Christmas time. And it's like, yeah, maybe theoretically if there weren't like 500 other pictures. And like that can bother that person so much that they're so unhappy. But like, I do think that we have to correct injustice. Like, if there's anything Ali like said that like really hit me is like, there's nothing that brings me more joy than creating justice in this society. Because what is it, how do you say it? Like Jahalia? Like, I don't know how to say Jahiliya. It looks like Jahiliya. Like, it's the time before Islam. And it was like, people are evil. Like, you're talking about anarchy. You're talking about justices, I'm raping you. You're talking about justices, I'm killing you. Like, there was no justice. It was such an unjust society because they did not have like the same structure in society. They didn't have rules. And they were very influenced at the same time by the Jewish religion, which the Jewish religious leaders like were the leaders, and they decided what was just, and what was just is what they said, and what they said was silly a lot of the time because it was a very, very old religion that did not understand itself. And so like it was a very unjust society. Ali loved bringing justice to their society and bringing rules to their society because like Islam like might have too many rules, but man, it is better than it was. Like, it really did look out for women a lot more than it could have. And so, like, justice, like, is nice. Like, it's nice having a fair society, and that's why I've said that what we need to do is say, like, here's federal criminal law. It's everyone's criminal law. And, like, those federal police officers, they're a lot like regular police officers, and they're not, like, doing, like, well grand jury's secret. Like, they're like, no one's allowed to, like, know about no, Puff Daddy knows about his grand jury. He can't appear at his grand jury. Like I'm confused about, like, how grand juries work. Like, when we see what the Constitution turns into, we go, well, that's not just. Like, in the Greek culture, one of the most important philosophical concepts was dikaiosune, the idea of justice. And it was the topic of Plato's book, The Republic, which it's Socrates that is teaching it. And like one of the reasons we know about Socrates is because dikaiosune, like he defines justice so much. And a lot of it is like giving to one what is owed to them. Like, and like he thinks that's justice. Like you're owed money, it's justice to pay you back. Like it's like having a just society where like you have just rules. And so like, but in the Christian Bible, what is dikaiosune translated as? Righteousness. And so like would everyone who spoke Greek know what justice is? Yeah, but like can justice be what is right? Yes, it is. Generally what is right is just, but like sometimes like what's right is like almost unjust or it is unjust. Because like justice can be unjust. Like, because like, is it really that fair to everyone that like they get treated like all throughout history, their ancestors were like torturing and killing people into forcing them into a religion that was so controlled by the religious police that like it was like terrible what they did to this religion. Like they would burn people alive for it. Like, is it unjust that like a really nice person could be treated badly because of their ancestors? It could be just while it's wrong. And so like justice is a very complicated issue. Like here Ali says like whoever is just in his governance and feeds others with the food he has and makes provisions in this world for the next world has nothing to fear. So like he says that being just is giving people the food that is yours. Well, yeah, you have too much food. But like, so like, I mean, like for him, a just ruler is what I would say is someone that like makes just judicial decisions, like is a just king. Like he's a person that says like, you guys have mansions that look like that, and like you're just wasting electricity and wasting like so many resources. Like I'm going to split your mansion up and give it to 4 families because I don't think you're that special. Like for me, I think that's justice. Like I think it's unjust that like these people have the biggest houses ever and that they're so freaking loaded and what they do is evil stuff. Like I think like it's just I don't want to start naming names. So like there's the Kaiosune, there's Andrea, which is courage. There's Sofrosune, which is temperance or like self-control. Like it's controlling your passions. And what's the 4th one? Phronesis. It's the ability to tell what's moral. Like it's ability to see what's just. Like it's the clarity of judgment. So the point I've been trying to get to by talking about the Kaiosune versus like the Christian Bible, which decides the most important idea in all of Greek philosophy is gone. We're going with righteousness on every single translation because we can't because we changed the language that much, so you'll never know what that Bible's saying. And I mean, I saw a pastor preaching on righteousness just the other day, and I was like, oh gosh, don't tell me you're using the Kaiosune. And like I mentioned that Origen has a prophecy that like a person will come around that has like that is that concerned about the Greek virtues. I can't remember what he says. And that's a person that knows Greek enough to understand that righteousness is not the Kaiosune. Like, I mean, that's a person that like gets to the point with Sofrosune that he's like passionate about like this concept. And like, I think that like when a just ruler is concerned with Sofrosune, then like it does make people like go, oh, that's so cool. But I think that in America nowadays, like I could be the ruler that doesn't have to be so concerned with Sofrosune, like Ben Franklin, who was concerned with like the way that he appeared to people. So he was so careful about the clothes he wore. Like he didn't want his investors to look at him and think that guy's being lavish with my money. Like he was a simple person publicly on purpose because he believed it was good for business. And I believe it's good for business. And I believe that like being someone that's not so money oriented is actually good for business. But like, I mean, you also want to show your investors that you care about bringing in money. Like you want to show the investors that you care about like being annoying as shit in Las Vegas, probably. Like if you've got some investors, you might need to say, well, trust me, like the hotel is going to say that it's $140, but it's $240. Like there's no way I'm not going to jack up that price. Everyone does. Like I think I'm paying $40 for this hotel room. It's actually $90. Like, I mean, and so is that just? I think it's like, I don't think it's just, but like, I mean, I like the problem is all your competition's doing the exact same thing. And so like, I mean, I think that like it's very uncomfortable, like trying to take over Vegas when like they're so freaking annoying. Like the businesses can get so freaking annoying in their desire to make money that you go, how can I stop being annoying? Because like I've stayed at the Rio, like I know the naked guys in giant pictures, like I know they're giant, like I know how annoying it is. Like sometimes with the advertisements in Vegas, like I'm the architect that goes, oh, don't do that to the Luxor Hotel. Like, I mean, I'm the architect that sees this stuff and goes, well, can we just tone it down? Like, how can we do advertising? I'll finish this teaching by saying this, that whoever acts justly towards those who are below him will be treated justly by those who are above him. So your behavior can provoke injustice. Like, you're a guy that steals from people. Someone might decide, oh, that guy steals, I'm just going to steal that guy's stuff. Like, someone might be so freaking unjust to you because they think it's just. And so, like, you have to understand that there, like, is that innate of a sense of justice, which, like I mentioned, like, someone might say justice is giving someone what's owed to them. Like, if you owe money, like, that's justice. Like, I mean, that's one of the definitions in the Republic of Plato. One of the other just definitions is the advantage of the stronger is what's just. And for a long time, the stronger has been like this class of priests that were making so much money off of prayer, and we're getting so much food, and we're living the easy life by like sitting around and just being a powerful person that can read, and they copy books a lot because they were scribes, you know. And like, what was justice is what, like, this crazy, like, sex, like, obsessed, like girl trader who has multiple wives, like, decides what is just. And I think that, like, my justice is better, and like, my justice, like, is not Ali's justice, because Ali was working with the situation he's in. I'm working with a situation where I can decide whatever justice is to me, because our society has progressed that far, where women are that far, where, like, culturally, like, we are annoying sometimes, like, where you're unjust if you think, like, I think you're unjust if you're being an asshole to a man dressed as a woman. But like, I think that, like, people are that serious about believing in, like, that, like, you have a dick, and they're not as sensitive, and like, but like, I think that justice is still being polite while believing that. And so, like, I mean, do I think that a man is a woman? That's not what I'm trying to get into. Like, personally, like, I think, like, clearly you're a woman and a man, and I would call you a woman because I think that justice is being a nice person. I think justice is feeding people, because it creates a situation that causes more justice between people. Because the more broke people are, the more strapped financially people are, the more unjust they tend to be, because they just need a little bit. I mean, the more, some people really do need more. And it's been easier for me in my life to behave justly, especially in the shoplifting department, because I've almost been taken care of financially, but also because I'm not as attached to having more stuff. Like, I'm fine with my situation I'm in right now. Like, I'm balling off food stamps because I've gone to food banks, and I've gotten free food from like, that homeless people get a lot. So I think we should be just. I think that, like, people that are